If you're looking for a new fantasy series with an immersive world, page-turning adventure and deep meaning, then you're in the right place. This is Awakening the Light, and I'm going to read to you Chapter 1. Shay's ears pricked at the soft scurrying of something that shouldn't be there. To him, it was a pealing bell, snatching him from his dreams. With his papa away, the family's safety was his responsibility, and the world was no longer safe, not since the Nahil had arrived. He wriggled out from his heavy feather cocoon and crawled on hands and knees, keeping his profile low. He didn't want to create a moving shadow over the timber wall, for a fire lamp still burned between his room and Jaela's. Shay's late teenage body, once stumpy and chunky, had recently grown. Long legs were hard to control, but he somehow reached the other end of the room without knocking anything over or catching something on his too short nightwear. Then he turned into the barn. The smell of freshly cut straw tickled his nose, threatening a sneeze. He pinched it down. The straw was stacked in the far right corner, ready for animal bedding. Keeping stock still, Shay peered at it, waiting for movement. He could see nothing. Their region of the Midladen was currently farthest from the gaze of Fassel, so the darkness was all-consuming. Shay considered his next move. He dug into his pocket for his most precious possession, a family heirloom. The tiny ball of light, encased in delicately crafted metal and glass, produced just enough glow to see the various lamps mounted on the barn walls. Shay twisted his fingers above the light, then shot it into the air. It whizzed around, igniting the lamps with a flameless glow and flooding the barn in illumination. Shay's eyes focused back on the straw. He desperately hoped it wasn't, but if it was a Nahil, light was his best weapon. Now he could see it. The stack wasn't high enough to hide one. He released a sigh of relief. Perhaps it was just a Bovar escapee. He continued concentrating, and after a few more seconds came a squeal, then a tremor. "Got you!" He sprang forwards and dove into the straw stack, pulling a heap to the side to reveal a tiny, shivering little wretch of a creature. This was no Bovar. It was a young Enja, an Enjilet. "Please," she cried, "I just needed a warm place. Please don't hurt me." The Enjilet was thinner than a stick of elm tree, a tree that reaches so high into the sky you wonder how it doesn't topple over every time the wind blows. Her skin was the colour of elm bark too, though the chill pimples on her arms made them more dark grey than bronze. Her wrist bones and elbows protruded so far out of her teeny arms they looked like they belonged elsewhere. Crossed in front of her face, they provided meagre protection from the blows she seemed to anticipate. Shay knelt in front of her, his previous fervour sinking into his toes. Then he reached forwards and eased a wrist away. She resisted, yet her resistance was futile. It took little effort to move her. "It's all right. I won't hurt you." Shay gently tucked a few dark brown curls behind the Enjilet's ears so he could see her face. She glanced up, her chestnut-coloured eyes opening so wide that they threatened to pop out. Tears danced in the orange lamplight. "But everyone hurts me." Shay's airways constricted. He removed his hand, settling it into his lap, then took a deep breath. "Nobody will hurt you in my papa's house." The Enjilet furrowed her brow. "In my experience, every house has hurters." "Then you will have to trust my experience," though she had no reason to do so. "What is your name, my little one?" "I'm not your little one!" She scrambled backwards into the straw. "Whoa, I meant no harm, please." Shay lifted his palms, hoping she would interpret it as a peace offering rather than anything else. She paused, considering. Truly, I swear it by Facel, I will not harm you. A scrag ran across her toes. There it is again! That filthy rodent ruined my hiding spot! Shay grabbed the creature by its tail and hung it upside down between them, its spindly claws twisted and turned, its wonky teeth aiming for his fingers. The Enjanan looked impressed. If you're going to kill it, can I eat it after? Shay grimaced, then seized his chance. You can only eat if you tell me your name. Humph, fine. It's Kallen, she replied, rigidly sticking out her chin. Shay gave a short, broken laugh. For all her physical weakness, Kallen certainly had spark. But that wouldn't prevent her from freezing to death if left in the barn. At least 10 hours of the night were left. When light was absent, so was warmth. He dropped the scrag into a nearby trap. He usually loved animals, but scrags were nasty vermin that ate the farm's produce and attacked their livestock, infecting them with disease. Kallen held out her hands, hopefully. Shay shook his head. That thing is going far away and nowhere near your mouth. But you promised, she scowled. I promised you food. How about this? He dug into his pocket and pulled out an oat bar. He often tucked snacks into his pockets at night, just in case. Mama told him he had hollow legs. Kallen snatched it and stuffed it in whole, filling her cheeks. Right, hump fine it's Kallen. It's time I took you somewhere warmer. Shaking her head, Kallen shuffled backwards again. Shay sighed. He was trying to remain patient, but now his skin was prickling from the cold, and he had no intention of staying in the barn any longer. He picked her up and slung her over his shoulder. No! She shouted, flailing and kicking her legs and beating his back. You said... I said I wouldn't harm you, and I won't. Now stay still. Shay fanned his fingers, then swept them into a fist. The lamps extinguished in turn as the ball of light flew back into its case. Kallen gasped. How did you... A question for Dawn. He popped the light case back in his pocket. Now keep quiet or you'll wake everyone up. He carried her through the doorway and then turned into the house. She remained silent, though she trembled. Only when he enveloped her in his feather cocoon and placed a gentle hand on her brow did she soften. Sleep, Kallen, he whispered. Be at peace. Kallen snuggled into the warmth but remained wary, fighting to keep one eye open. Sensing her fear, he moved back to the doorway and sat near the large fire lamp, hoping to calm her anxiety and to stop his legs shivering. That had the desired effect. Shortly afterwards, Kallen gave in and closed her eyes. Once he was sure she was asleep, Shay grabbed a blanket from his sister's room and went to doze in the kitchen, hoping Kallen would have forgotten about the light case by morning. So that was chapter 1 of Awakening the Light. And if you loved that and you want to know what happens next, the link to grab the book is in the comments, and there should also be the audiobook available soon, which has me reading the whole thing for you. Enjoy!